So, how's everyone?
I'm great.
That's good. So today we'll be reviewing the vegan teacher, I guess.
All right.
So watch your video. Because there is ones that I've seen. And from what I can tell, she's not a very good person.
Definitely not.
Um, is this real? Wait, can you see the stream?
Yes.
Okay. Do you see a video you want to watch? Or should I pick a video?
I'd say just pick.
Okay. So yeah, for people who don't know who the vegan teacher is, basically a Karen who's vegan and wants to shove veganism down people's throats.
And force it upon innocent pets.
Yeah, that as well. Because she has a dog that she's forced to be vegan, even though I'm pretty much sure dogs are omnivores, but mainly carnivorous. I'm going to search this up. Dogs have molars. Okay, so dogs are carnivores, meaning they have to have meat. That's what they need. By the vegan teacher forcing her dog to be vegan, it is technically animal abuse. It has been. Sorry, what?
I just said yes.
Ah, yeah. Let's see. Found one.
To all of you new vegans out there, here's a little song. Happy Vegan Declaration Day to you. Woo-hoo.
Okay,
Happy Vegan Declaration Day to you. Woo-hoo. Whether you've been vegan for...
yeah, basically, she's singing about being vegan for the most part.
a lifetime or just a minute, welcome to the club. We're so glad you're...
You see, she says that being vegan, you need to be at it constantly. But here she literally just said that you can be vegan for a minute. So that contradicts what she's saying.
Very contradicting.
Yeah.
in it. Happy Vegan Declaration Day to you. Woo-hoo. Happy Vegan Declaration Day to you. Everywhere around the world, animals are lining up to thank you for your compassion and for allowing your heart to open up. That's for all of you new vegans out there. And it is for Ablaze, well in advance to when he becomes vegan one day.
So Blaze has done many videos about her, just like about everyone else. But yet again, she's not listened, and etc. etc.
Well, you never know. You know, we got to be optimistic about these things. I'm going to be reviewing
Teacher, more like
Ablaze's...
freaking teacher.
Hey. Also, I'm pretty much sure Ablaze said in his video that he's not being vegan at all. But she still thinks there's a chance. Ha! Like, there is.
The video that he did on...
She doesn't care if you forgot to recycle. He doesn't care if you left your reusable shopping bag.
January 8th, and I'll give you some of my comments and some quotes from him. He says, I'm pretty sure that vegan phobia is not a thing, he says.
Okay. Her vegan phobia doesn't exist, right? A phobia is being scared of something. She's saying that vegan phobia is like you assaulting someone for animal rights. Vegan phobia is being scared of a vegan. She also has said multiple times that being vegan, a true vegan, requires you to be an animal activist. It doesn't.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. It says here, a person who does not eat food derived from animals and who typically do not use other animal products. That's a noun. The adjective, eating, using, or containing no food or other products derived from animals. Nowhere does it say you have to be an animals rights activist. So she's created something else.
Well, I can tell you that it is a thing. There are children who are constantly being bullied and abused because of the fact that they don't eat animals and because
They're not getting bullied or abused for not eating meat. There may be jokes about, but that's the extent.
they feel deeply in their heart that they have to speak out in defense of the animals. So an example for vegan phobia would be when a kid is eating their sandwich, their tofu, their lentil burger or whatever, and then another kid will come up and put a piece of bacon in their face and just say, how do you like this dead pig? Now, see, that's an example of vegan phobia. Because veganism,
Let me bring up the definition. So it says that it's people are being attacked, discriminated, etc., etc., for the fact that they don't eat animals or use animal type products for ethical reasons. Nowhere does it say that vegan phobia is like assault in animal rights activists.
at its core, is not about food. It's about the animals. And if a child is very well in tune and feels deeply that they don't want to pay for the rape, torture, and murder of these animals, which is what happens in these cycles,
In some forms, there is like the mass reproduction, which I guess you could say it's rape. The murder, like the word she's using, it's more for human use. It's not. Like, so murder, it's more you've murdered this human. You know, that's what it's meant to be used for. It's not like the way she's using it isn't technically correct. But there is death of animals. Like, there are some terms she just uses out of. Like, she misuses it.
and then somebody comes and sticks the dead animal in their face on purpose. That is a
See, it's not really a dead animal. The dead animal would be the physical dead body of the animal in front of their face. If it's about bacon, it's not really the dead animal. It's part of it.
a form of very severe discrimination, because that kid is immediately taken back to the images that they've seen about the animals. Maybe they've seen some documentaries, and it pains them to their core. One child actually committed suicide. I think there was many, but I don't want to quote ones that I haven't actually seen myself. Or
I don't entirely believe that. If I'm being honest. Like, they might have done that, but they wouldn't have done it because of that reason. It could be something completely different. Like, it could be issues at home, and they just happen to be vegan or having a vegan diet. Does not, because they've done that, and they happen to be vegan, does not mean they've done it because they were bullied for being vegan. If you know what I mean.
Yeah, I think I do.
or read a specific, about. But, if this kid was bullied so much in that fashion that they committed suicide. So please don't be vegan phobic. Don't deny that it exists. It definitely exists. And it's so painful because these kids who are young animal rights activists are extremely sensitive.
How do you know they're young animal rights activists? They could just be doing it because they don't really like the idea of, oh, that's Bambi. But they don't have to be a rights activist. Like, they could just be doing it so they know that it ain't Bambi on their plate. Like, there's a lot of things she says and it's not entirely true. And that's what frustrates me.
Yeah.
And they have, some of them, been vegan since birth, and others have become vegan at about the age of whatever, all different ages. It could be 8, 9, 10. Some of them are eating lamb, and then they find out, they make a connection. Their parents, they ask their parents, like, what do you mean this is lamb? Like Mary's little lamb? Like the little lamb from that we just saw and on a show or at the petting zoo or whatever? And the parent nonchalantly says, yeah. And then the kid says, I don't want to eat any animals. I don't want to hurt them. And there's many videos where they've shown vegan kids like that who are just bursting into tears and just in agony at being forced to eat these dead animals. A lot of parents think that they have to feed meat to kids.
They kind of have to. Because there are certain things you don't get from being vegan. Like the iron, for example. You could get an iron deficiency, which you need to eat meat because it has the iron in it, and etc. etc. And also another thing, if you're going to have to take supplements, in my opinion, that's not a really good diet.
Yeah.
Like, if you're missing something that you need to take an alternative for, that's not a food, it's obviously not healthy for you. Like, entirely.
Unless you're allergic to the natural occurrence for it. If you understand what I mean.
Yeah.
But they don't. What's important is they have a well-balanced diet.
Well-balanced diet. Let's see what one of those are. So that's an example of a balanced diet. It consists of chicken, yogurt, I believe that's fish, green bean, or green peas even, beans, cheese, a soup, an avocado. I have no clue what that is though.
What is?
It's got a balance of meats and fruit, veg, dairy, etc., etc. That's a balanced diet, not beans, peas, the berries, asparagus, it having just a vegan diet for your entire life is not good for you. Like, another example. You got large part fruit and veg, and you got meat, fish, and alternatives. Sure, we could do with like less meat than fruit and veg, but still. Having this full circle just be fruit and veg, that's not good. But having this plate as it is, that's a fairly decent meal. That's a good meal.
As long as kids get all the nutrients, they can be vegan from the age of being just a brand new baby, when every baby is born vegan.
I heavily doubt that. I seriously doubt that you can be vegan from when you're immediately born.
Kids, teenagers, parents, grandparents, pregnant moms, all you need to do is have a balanced diet, but you don't need to ever eat eggs. You don't need
In the example before, there was chicken, eggs, cheese, yogurt, the green beans, and avocado there, berries, etc., etc. So yes, you do need those things.
cheese. You don't need to drink cow's milk. You don't need any meat in order to be okay. You have to take certain supplements like B12, but what would you rather do? Have a B12 pill? Or would you rather take a knife and stab an innocent animal who wants?
It's called survival of the fittest.
Yeah.
Also, what would she
There's
do? Sorry, what?
no, I yeah, I lost my train of thought. Anyways,
Oh, yeah, like, what would she do if there was no supplement pills? What would she do? She would have to either eat the meat or
Eric.
lap herself in that area, which could lead to health problems and end up possibly killing her.
To live and be with their family. For me anyway, it was pretty clear. Once I found out all of this stuff, there was just no choice. I had to be vegan. It didn't happen overnight for me though. Just like with you guys, I didn't like to hear the message at first, found it difficult, and I didn't want to deal with it. I tried to look the other way and try to pretend like it was just, oh, that doesn't really happen, that terrible treatment of the animals here in my country. I'm in Canada. It must be somewhere else. And then I just did research. It took me a long time. It didn't come so easy.
The research she'd done was Dominion.com, which is just edited parts of footage, the bad parts, put together. Also, she's going to talk about clicks, which reasonably, it does take a few things to go, oh, do I want to do this or this? Like, what's a better option?
it takes about 100 clicks until you're vegan. You have to think about it. You have to get the message in your heart. You know, here's an example of one click. You might see a mug like this. I showed this in another video. But you might see that mug. Some of you might think, I don't care, whatever. And others might look at it and go, okay, wait. Cow's milk is for baby cows.
It's hard for feels like us. We don't know who we trust. Not even
And you might have that moment where it dawns on you, yeah, why am I drinking cow's milk? Why am I not drinking pig's milk? Or you might think to yourself, wait a second, milk is for babies. Why am I drinking milk past the stage of being a baby when no other animals do that?
The reason why we drink milk is, I think it's omega-3 for your bones. And so your bones can be stronger. That's why. And it is quite annoying that you compare humans to animals, but then say things like the humans don't deserve their rights, but the animals do. But then that would mean humans deserve their rights, but they don't. It kind of creates a paradox.
That feminism. But with animals.
Yeah.
Why am I drinking the milk of another species? So if that really hits you in the head, you make that logical connection, and then you think, well, why is it that we do drink this milk? And then you realize it's these industries that have promoted these things to try to sell their product. And when you get that in your head, and when you see how the pigs are treated, or sorry, the cows are treated, did I say?
The way she's talking about is only in a few farms and industries. Most other farms do it as humanely as possible. But because the Dominion has taken all the bad things from the videos, put it together, and she's watched it and has believed it, she's now thinking, that small farm, that's what it's doing.
Yeah, it provides a biased opinion.
Yeah.
Pigs before, I mean cows, obviously. The cows are treated in the industry, and how they are removed. The babies are just ripped away from their moms so that we can steal their milk. Like, if this gets to you, that might just be one click, and you still need another 99. Because after that, you go home or whatever, you go to a friend's house and they're eating cheese on pizza, and you're like, oh yeah, pizza, and you're eating it, and then you kind of need another click to realize, wait, cheese comes from milk. So what I'm saying, though, regarding Ablaze's comment here is that, yes, vegan phobia does exist, and it's important that we are sensitive to the needs, these psychological needs of people who are vegan, and to not purposely hurt them. See, one of his other comments is, if anyone eats meat in front of you, is that vegan phobia? So here's my answer to that. If somebody's eating meat in front of you and they have no clue what's going on, they don't know that you're vegan, they're just minding their own business, eating a burger or whatever, like, you know, McDonald's or wherever, even a family member, and they don't know that this bothers you, then it's not really vegan phobia.
But we're still dirty meat eaters. Anyway. Like, there's just something she says, like this, that, oh yeah, if we don't know it bothers someone, then, you know, it doesn't count. Well, then later on she'll be like, it shouldn't matter if you knew or not, it still counts. And, like, she's got to make up her mind. Like, another thing, right, I've noticed, it's only farm animals she talks about, right? She'll mention chickens, pigs, cows, etc., etc. But there was this one time that someone mentioned polar bears, and she's like, oh yeah, I can't be bothered, why don't you do them? And her definition of being a vegan, not only being a rights activist, but you care for all the animals in the animal kingdom. So what has she done there by saying, oh yeah, you better do this, I can't be bothered, would technically make her not a true vegan.
Vegan phobia is bullying. It's being on purpose mean. Now, it gets a bit tricky though. Like if you have somebody at the Christmas table who there's one vegan and there's 12 non-vegans, is that considered to be bullying? Is that vegan phobia? And you know, that is tricky. If they're not doing it on purpose, they're just minding their own business, eating, and they're just like, well, you know, you don't have to be here at Christmas dinner if you don't want to. Well, what do you think? Do you think that's vegan phobic? In a way, the person could choose not to be in that situation, right? Then they're not faced with looking at all these dead bodies on the table.
She calls them dead bodies, but they're not. Like, I can understand, right? It is part of an animal that has died. And for some people, that's a scary thought. They don't want to live with that, so they decide to go vegan. But to call it an entire dead body, like how she's saying it, like the way she's putting it is that you've put the whole entire pig uncooked, you know, it's just recently died onto the plate, and that's used to eat it. It's not how it works. And that's what really bothers me. Is she'll say stuff and then
Immediately do a 180.
yeah.
On the other hand, how hard is it for an entire family to
If they don't know, like you said, they didn't know, then it'd be quite hard.
simply not put dead animals on the table when that one family member is there? Because everybody can eat vegan food.
Also, another solution. The family who are not vegan, you know, that part could have their Christmas dinner with meats, and then the people who are vegan can have their own, you know, dinner, their vegan dinner. Like there are other options other than these two. She just doesn't think about it.
Right? So I would sort of say that it depends. It really depends. But let's try to stick with the idea, just for now, with the level of vegan phobia where it is deliberately trying to hurt that person. Okay, waving bacon into someone's face, or let's say a company that deliberately doesn't make attempts to accommodate vegans who are there. Like, let's say a boss is having a business meeting, a lunch, and the employee has to sit at that table, and there's dead bodies there.
Dead bodies is a human term. She'll say it repeatedly that there's dead bodies, but dead bodies is a human term. And that's what annoys me.
Chickens or pig, ham, whatever. And it really bothers an ethical vegan who doesn't want to sit at a table with dead bodies. It would be like you having to sit at a table with dead cats or dead dogs. It would affect you emotionally. Well, that's how it is for ethical vegans. It really gets to them. So if that employee says, hey, listen, can I opt out of this meeting, or can we have this meeting without food so that I can concentrate and so that I won't feel these emotions of seeing this death? And the boss says, I don't really care about you. No, you have to sit there. Too bad for you. I would.
But no company would do that. Like, no proper company with good morals would make someone do that. If anything, if that person was getting upset because of it, they would allow the time out. I'm not bothering with her imaginative scenario where it happens, because in proper companies it wouldn't.
Would say, yeah, that's vegan phobic. Because these are ethical principles based on trying to do the least harm to others. Like, we want to have a society that's compassionate, right? Anyways, the levels are obviously different and nuanced, but the main thing that you need to know is that in the comment section, if you see people writing meat just for the sake of writing meat, that's vegan phobic. It's completely unnecessary and it's cruel. And that's why I don't read my comment section. I mean, I let people write there, depending on which account I have. Sometimes I'll turn them off. I don't really have a magic.
She'll let people comment, but she turns comments off. That contradicts.
Very.
Formula. This is the difficult part. On the one hand, I want people to engage and be there. On the other hand, if it just becomes a big giant bullying territory under my umbrella, my name, That Vegan Teacher, why would I let these people there? That's why I turned the comments off on my TikTok account, the main one. For now, I don't know how long they've been off, maybe a couple of months now, I'm not sure. Is because I just thought of it, well, this is my home, my TikTok timeline, my...
It's not your home, it's the internet. Like, you're posting on a media which is social, and everyone's allowed an opinion on it.
Yes.
Like, she says it's her home, but it isn't. It's more of a public park, if anything. And she's not wanting these comments, just so she's turning them off. But she wants people to communicate to her. Doesn't make sense.
My comment section, and I just don't want to invite people to, take a dump in my kitchen. They're just like spewing out all of this garbage, this mean stuff, and just unnecessary. I would leave it open, no problem, if people wanted to.
She happens to use the words garbage and kitchen. Now, I don't know about you. You probably do this, but in the kitchen, there are things called bin bags, right? And bin bags
Yes.
hold all the rubbish. So her saying
Yes.
that she wouldn't want the rubbish in her kitchen, even though that's a place where the bin bags are,
Yes.
like that.
What's commonly found.
Yeah.
Engage, wanted to ask questions, learn, even tell stories about themselves, how, I'm trying to be vegan, but I'm having trouble with this thing, whatever. Like, if everybody was normal, kind.
If everybody was normal and kind, technically, there is no one normal. Because a normal is based to that person. So my normal might be getting up, feeding cats, brushing my teeth, doing whatever. And your normal might be getting up, feeding a dog. Just an example. There is no one normal. Also, being kind. Basically, her version of kind would be standing up for the animals, not, giving a nice compliment. Like gifting someone something or whatnot. Her kind would be protesting against someone eating a McDonald's burger. Like, she doesn't make any sense. Like, hold on. Normal, comforting to a third, usual, typical, or expected. I'll usually typical or expected state or condition. Right, so I don't understand what her normal is. Let's see, kind. A group of people or things having similar. Yeah, all kinds. Okay. Having or showing a friendly, generous, sympathetic, or warm-hearted nature, agreeable or beneficial. So I don't know what her kind is. I mean, technically her kind is beneficial to the animals. Sure, but a kind would be beneficial to everyone, not just a single person. Like, I'm trying to think how to put this. Do you have any ideas how to describe kind?
I do not. I was thinking.
Okay, let's just get on.
Consider it? That would be great. So the vegan phobia that goes on is really terrible because it prevents us from having proper conversations. Let's see what else he says. She is brainwashing kids to be vegan.
She basically is. She has said multiple times before, if you're not vegan, you're going straight to hell. But the concept of heaven and hell is based on the good deeds you've done. If you've done more good deeds than bad, you're obviously going to heaven. But if you've done loads of bad deeds that build up more negative, you're going straight down. It's not, oh, you're a vegan, so you're going to heaven, or you're not, you ate meat, so you're going straight down. Like, she also talks about how Jesus, which, if I'm getting this right, part of the Bible says the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit are one, meaning God, Jesus, and I'm guessing ghost of Jesus or something, are one. So God and Jesus are technically one. If I'm incorrect, you can correct me about that.
I am honestly not very knowledgeable in that subject.
Okay. Okay. Well, yeah. So Jesus made it fish rain. Also, in one of the depictions of the Last Supper, there's a goat's head. That does not scream vegan to me.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm brainwashing kids. I think I'm explaining what goes on so that people can make informed choices. I have explained this before, that I believe that people are born vegan. Okay, you come out of your mother's womb, you're drinking your mother's milk, you're vegan. The only way that you become non-vegan is when your parents give you the body of a dead animal to eat, and that
Okay. She's quite literally just said, everybody's vegan until your parents feed you meat. I'm pretty much sure she said before that if your parents do feed you meat, you're still technically vegan until you realise what's happening in the factories. If you're still eating meat, you're not vegan. But if you've learned about what happened in the factories, like the bad, but you decide to go vegan, you're good. Like, this contradicts yet again.
Yeah.
you're not even aware of it. But even that, because you're not aware, you are still technically vegan.
Right there. Or you're vegan, but as soon as your parents feed you meat, you're not vegan. Split second afterwards. Oh, but because you didn't know about this, you're technically not vegan. Definition of vegan is someone who's changed their diet to be no like animal type products. Also, they don't use animal products. So like a wool coat, they wouldn't use because it's made from sheep's wool.
They
A beef
wouldn't use
burger, they wouldn't. Huh?
they wouldn't use a feather pillow either.
Yeah, technically.
You see, veganism is about making the choice to not harm animals. So like you guys right now, if you hear this message and you know how much these animals suffer, and then you deliberately eat them, then that's not being vegan. But if somebody, say I was at a party or something and some really cruel person put something in front of me that had a dead, like let's say it was chicken noodle soup or something. I thought I was just having soup, and then it turns out that they put some chicken broth in there, and I didn't.
Wouldn't she have tasted the chicken? Like, I know it's just a scenario, but wouldn't she have smelt and tasted the chicken in the soup and and went, oh wait, this has chicken in it, or it has a chicken broth, or whatever in it. I don't want this. Can you please return it? I'm strictly vegan. But what she's like, also, what if the person she's seen the person knows, right? Which, fair enough, if they're actively doing it, it's not a nice thing. But vegan phobia is being scared. What that scenario is telling you is that they're like teasing or bullying or like trying to joke about it. It does get a bit frustrating at times, because she basically like jumps the gun, just goes ahead and assumes, or
Yeah.
No, they did it on purpose just to kind of snicker. Like that would be vegan phobic. But I would still technically be vegan because I did not deliberately try to hurt animals.
being vegan is not using any animal things or eating any animal things. So would she technically be vegan still? Because I don't believe. Also, it depends to the extent of how much she ate. If she's eaten the whole entire thing, she's not vegan. If she's taken like a spoon or fork, depends. A spoonful or forkful, and went, oh wait, I don't like that, or oh, that's got chicken in it, I don't want to eat the rest of that, then technically she could still count as being vegan. But if she's eaten the whole entire thing, and then she went, oh wait, that had chicken in it, technically she isn't.
This brings me to another point that Ablaze has. He says, what did he write? Something about, okay, you're saying that vegans should not are you saying, or you were saying that vegans should not drive cars because the fuel comes from dinosaur fossils? Like, this doesn't make any sense.
But it does though. The fuel, the petrol or whatever, has came from dinosaur fossils. Dinosaurs are animals. We have classified them as animals.
Yeah.
So therefore, if you're using your car and using fuels, and it came from dinosaur fossils, you're technically not being vegan because you're using an animal type product.
Because if I'm driving a car, I'm not deliberately hurting animals. I'm not on purpose trying to do anything.
What she basically said there was, because she's not hurting the animals by driving that car, like she's not physically hurting the animals, it doesn't count as not being vegan. So technically, by us eating a burger, because we're not directly hurting the animal, we're not being not vegan, is what she said.
Dinosaurs died a long time ago. Some
Dinosaurs died a long time ago. So did that cow or pig. It's, like, it's not really different.
vegans try very hard to drive their car as little as possible because they want to protect the environment.
They try to drive it. They try to drive it as little as possible, but they're still driving it, which means they are still using animal products. So therefore, they're not being vegan in her eyes.
For these animals. And of course, this is all tied in. You know, we are all part of this giant web. We're all intertwined and interconnected. So the less pollution that we contribute to, the better for the animals and the people, right? Because it all is connected to the planet. I was just gonna say something. I noticed that he had blurred out on his video my image here that I had shown.
That's different to some bacon. The pig is cut up properly. Every part of the pig's also used for a purpose, so the animal doesn't go to waste. But you know, they've cut up parts of the animal, they've cooked it, so that we can digest it, which our body's meant to do. Like, we have grown and developed, you know, we've evolved to eat meat. And it just happens to be that we like to cut parts out of the animal and cook it. It's completely different from just the raw dead pig on the plate. Also, another thing, the flies are on it, whilst on the bacon it's not. The flies mean it's been like that for a while, and you've
And it's
just popped that
decomposing.
one.
Flies being on it, you know, it's been there for a while, and it's been able to decompose.
Yeah. Also, there's like no trigger warning that she's done. And if you can see where my cursor is, right? Jerob gave a trigger warning on one of his TikToks, right? And the vegan teacher's like, that's not a proper trigger warning, you should give 10 seconds. Now, a TikTok can last for a maximum of 60 seconds. So given that trigger warning, her version would take up 1/6 of the video, which, you know, that's not you're not getting the most out of it. Plus, the trigger warning doesn't come in until maybe like halfway through, I don't know. So there's actually time to react. Also, she says there's no time to swipe away. Now, from what I understand, it's quite easy to swipe a TikTok video.
Yes.
So that point there is absolutely useless.
Which is this one. I was someone's baby. Please eat tofu instead. Why do you think he blurred out this image? You see, he could have helped just by showing he showed an image of me talking like this, and then he deliberately blurred it out. One, because he thinks he might not get monetized by showing it, which is not a concern of mine. I want to tell the truth. Or number two, he might just deliberately not want to show it to people because he's vegan phobic.
He might not want to show it to people because he doesn't want people having nightmares. Not because he's vegan phobic. Also, the blur, you could still kind of make out what's there, but you couldn't actually tell what's there. Like, the blur allowed you to see that there's blue, there was the green, there was like a peachy colour, there was a red for the background, and orange kind of like here. You know, it just allowed you to see the colours barely. It didn't show you the entire thing like as detailed, but allowed you to see the colours of what was there. Also, he did say what was on the plate without people having to see it, right? Because having someone describe it and having someone say it to you, right, someone describe it, having to see it for yourself, it's more relaxing on the brain for someone to say it, rather than seeing this image. So, you know, what you did was actually a decent thing to do.
What would have been helpful is for him to actually show the true video that I was in. That would have been the ethically right thing to do, to show what I was showing so that people could see my message. So I'm not sure why he blurred that out, but I urge you to not blur this out if you ever do a video of this segment, because the reality is that this is what happens, and we need to know that we are hurting animals, and what is the difference?
Animals get hurt every day. Out in the wild, on the streets, etc., etc. Because that's the food chain. It's a way of life. Yeah. Like I said, survival of the fittest, etc., etc. Also, in one of the videos, I believe it's this video. No, he reacts to a video she made. She says something like, the only reason why the ox is as strong as it is because it eats, you know, grass and whatnot. And the reason why giraffes are so tall is because of it eats leaves and whatnot. But you don't see the rabbit as big as a skyscraper. Also, polar bears, which are
or
pretty
like
strong.
the biggest bears, I believe.
Let's see. The polar bear. Which, if I got this right, their diet mainly contain fish, seals. I don't know. Penguins, etc.,
No, not
etc.
penguins. They do
Oh.
not eat penguins. Penguins are on the other side.
Yeah, I keep forgetting that. But yeah, like seals, fish, etc., etc.
Though they would likely eat penguins if they had access to them.
Yeah, they would, because it's a smaller thing than it. But yeah, they're still mighty and strong. Yeah, they don't eat leaves or fruit veg. So how do you explain that? Like this person over here says, there's a thing called genetics, which the explanation for the giraffe neck is its genetics have been modified over time so that its neck's that tall. The polar bear has been, the biggest type of bear, the strong one, a strong creature, is because it's genetics. Same with like a bull or an ox. Like, it's all based on genetics. They just happen to eat certain things so they can keep living. Like that's happened to be what they require.
Between showing this or showing the actual bacon. You might say, well, there's a huge difference. Okay, but what is it? What is it?
Difference between a bacon and a pig. What is it? Well, A, the bacon comes from the pig. It's not the pig itself. B, the bacon's cooked. What you're showing is a raw dead pig in amongst that food.
Yeah.
There are probably more differences, but I just can't think of them right now.
Think about it. What else did he say? TikTok is taking her down. I don't know why people keep saying this.
Fun fact. Some of her videos were actually taken down. She had to put them on YouTube. So yeah, they were.
People are supposedly have been trying to close my account on TikTok for months now. There was supposed to be something on the 1st of December. They all were rallying, like sending each other message. 1 million people clicked, let's get her down. And then it was supposed to be on Christmas Day. Nothing happened. Then on January 1st, nothing happened. And they're still apparently trying. And I just made a video today on TikTok about this guy, Ethan Trace. And he is apparently working with people to try to say that I broke 8 Canadian laws or something, which is, it's just...
Okay, I don't know about that. But I can tell you, from the things she's done, she has committed hate crimes, She's been racist,
Yes.
disabled, homophobic,
Yes.
etc., etc. But funny thing is, she said that she was lesbian. Then she's also said she's bi. Now, the lesbian thing's obviously incorrect, because in one of her videos, she says she has a husband, right? Also, she has a daughter, meaning she would have had to be with a man.
Well, not necessarily.
Yeah, not necessarily, but in one of her videos, she says that she has a husband. So I'm going to take it that she has been with a man. Also, by her saying lesbian, I mean, technically, you've already been with a man, so that would either make you bi, or if you happen to just only know you've liked these two genders, but you could possibly actually like more, you could technically be pan.
Yes.
I mean, I believe that's correct. But yeah. So I wouldn't be surprised if she's actually has broken a few laws.
Beyond ridiculous how ignorant people are, and that people believe these rumors. I mean, how is it breaking a law to talk about saving animals? And that people believe that. It's crazy. So
I don't think that's what they mean. You've probably done other things. Also, like mentioned previously, you've done animal abuse with Bella. Because Bella is a dog, dogs are mainly carnivorous. As explained before. So I wouldn't be surprised if you have actually broke laws.
I urge you to use your cognitive thinking, your cognitive skills to think about what is going on. Just use your critical thinking skills. Like, think. Does this rumor make sense? If you don't know that if you don't know if it's true,
Like I said, I wouldn't be surprised. And it probably would make sense.
true, don't repeat it, is basically my message. If you have not yet read this book, Ablaze, here's one. I'm sure you probably won't read it, but this is the China study. And the reason I'm showing you is because this was a study that was done on many, many people. And it's a very well-known study. And what the end result of this study was, is that they realized that the more vegan you are, the healthier you are. There's tons of information in here that proves that. The less animals you eat, the better, the longer you live. And I'm personally intending to live quite long. But, you know, vegans get sick just like anybody else. But I don't eat any dead animals. I don't eat any eggs. I don't drink milk. And I invite you to do the same thing. And I look forward one day of
Invite declined.
to singing you, for real, the Happy Vegan Declaration Day song. You know, when you go home and you stab your fork into the meat on your plate, just think about it. Do you really need to make that decision to be cruel when you can choose to be kind?
How we can cruel? If we're eating bacon. Because, like she said, because you're not directly affecting the animal itself, you're not truly affecting it, meaning you're not being cruel. You're not, it's not, you're not abusing them, you're not doing this, that, and the next thing. Like, sometimes she just says stuff and it makes absolutely no sense.
10 guests had arrived to the mansion, each lured by the promise of great fortune, and all but one doomed.
Go to Chronometer to find out what you're eating. You put your foods in there and it tells you what vitamins or proteins you might be lacking in case you're worried. But watch the movie watchdominion.com. I've said it many times.
Dominion.com. The biased movie ever.
And I'm going to repeat it forever because it's a great documentary to show you what really goes on. I thank you all for listening, and the Blaze,
So yeah, what's your... Sorry about that. So what's your opinion on her?
He's not. I can't really even put it into words. She doesn't stick to anything. She is constantly contradicting herself. And I mean, if she said that forcing a vegan diet upon an animal in which is just animal abuse. Doing the one thing that she's saying not to do.
Yeah. Like, she says so many things, but she'll later on, sooner or later, right, she'll say the complete opposite, or say something that, well, just like paradox what she's saying. And, she's abusive, she's bullying, basically.
Yeah.
She lies. She'll say that she isn't trying to make you vegan, but terrorizing children by saying they're going to go downwards if they're not
Yeah.
vegan. If you're eating meat or using animal products, then you're a dirty meat eater. You deserve to go down, etc., etc. Like, she's also a bit crazy. Like, Tommy in it, YouTuber or Twitch streamer, I don't know. He made a joke from using a TikTok, right? That he doesn't get too much attention from women, right? She then turns around and reacts to it by saying, "Oh, don't worry, we'll find you a nice vegan girlfriend," and gives the strangest, creepiest looks ever. And that made a lot of his fans really uncomfortable. And I believe Tommy as well felt uncomfortable. And once she saw all the reactions to our videos, she started calling them snowflakes, etc., etc., even though she's one herself.
Indeed.